Hey there, CW International students. I am Rebecca. I work for the International Center, and I am at McElroy Park today, and I'm going to take you on a little bit of a nature walk of what's happening with spring in Ellensburg right now. So we're going to start with this bush right behind me. This bush right here has some of the first foliage of spring, and it's actually starting to flower a bit, but it has had its leaves for a lot longer than some of other plants around here. You can see that these roses right here are just starting to get their leaves. They're still pretty small, but they are starting to come out. You'll also notice that some of the trees are getting their buds on them as well. You'll notice that there's little tiny buds on all of the trees. Some of them are more spread out than others, but they are all getting leaves. Now we're gonna look at a willow tree. This is a really big old willow tree, and you can see it too is starting to get its buds on it. And willows have what's called catkills on them as a seed. And these are long, dangly things that open up right around the same time that the leaves do, and they are the seed pods for the willow trees. And a lot of other types of trees have them, including birches and alders, I believe. So this is a birch tree, and it has those catkills that the willow tree is starting to get, and I just wanted to show you what they look like. They're long and dangly. So we're coming up on one of my favorite spots in the park. It's a little trail that goes out into the woods, but it goes by some wetland areas, and you'll notice these green shoots up here. These are wild irises. In a few weeks they'll get some big tall stalks on them and have big yellow blossoms on them. You can hear a chickadee out here right now, and it is the right time of year to be listening for bird calls. They are singing to each other to define their territory and to attract a mate. This is not the right time of day to be seeing birds. They come out more often in the morning or in the evening, but they are active all day long. We're by the creek right now, and you can see there's a lot of irises in this area. They like a little bit stiller water. If you go down further stream, where it gets more rushing water, there are no irises in this area. This plant right here is called a snowberry, and you'll notice that it's got some dead berries on it. A few weeks ago, those were all white berries. This is one of the few berries that keeps its berries during the winter, and the birds will eat the berries because they're available. But you'll notice that it started to get its leaves, and so the berries have, it's no longer bringing the nutrients to the berries themselves, it's putting them into the leaves now so that it can start it over again next year. So over here we have a robin, and it's probably a male robin based on the color of its breast. It's very, very bright colored orange, you can't really tell. But the females usually have duller colors so that they hide better and don't attract predators, but the males want to be attracted to the females, so they have the brighter colors. There are a lot of robins in the area right now because it is migrating season, and so they're migrating north. Some are in the north where there's more light, and they have more time to catch food and whatnot to raise their young. Up here in these trees you can see flitting about some chickadees. And they are marking their territory and finding mates. So at these bushes that I'm at, there's a lot of birds twittering in them. I don't know what all of them are based on the calls. I'm not actually very good with bird songs. But there are likely some sparrows. That looks like there's some really tiny ones that might be like a kinglet of some variety. And since it's still spring, early spring, they are still flocking together in multi-species flocks as protection against predators, but pretty soon they'll pair up and they'll stop singing as much and they'll just chirp and call because they don't want to alert predators to where their nests are. So as we head out of the park and up the little trail, we get into a little bit more of the sagebrush steppe environment that surrounds Ellensburg. So it's gonna look at some plants in this area. This plant right here, this is called an Oregon grape, and you can see right here it's starting to get its grapes. And these are some grape stems from last year. The Oregon grapes like a little bit more of a wetter environment, so you usually find them on the western side of the state, but as you can see they do grow out here as well. And if we go up here a little bit, we'll notice the sagebrush here is all getting its leaves, and it's turning green and starting to smell good. But also right here is a wildflower. Now this is one of the very common wildflowers in this part of the area, and they grow all over the hills surrounding Ellensburg. So I am a geology major. I love rocks, so I'm just going to talk a little bit about the rocks that I'm standing on right now. So you can see these rocks right here. This is likely part of the Ellensburg Formation, which is river deposits. So they have very rounded rocks that are called clasts, and they are very different sizes, and they are just spread throughout the area. Ooh! You see, right here, there's another little white wildflower, which kind of looks like yarrow the flower does. But the stem does not. Whenever you go out for the nature walk, I definitely recommend bringing a wildflower book or guide of some variety. If you're interested in flowers, rocks, trees, whatever, they have so many guides out there for you to be able to help identify for yourselves what some of the wildflowers are, or wild things you're seeing are. And so there's so many out there for different areas, different specialities. I would recommend getting one. So the tree I'm at now is a spruce tree. I know this because you know a spruce if you don't want to shake its hand. They are very pokey on all sides, but you'll notice that it too is getting new growth. Now, since the evergreens don't lose their leaves, they do, but they still do get new growth, and so it tends to be a lighter green than the rest of the growth, and it's much softer. On this tree there's quite a few varieties of what's known as a lichen. Lichen is a symbiotic relationship between a fungus, an algae, and sometimes a bacteria, and they can grow on anything, and they can come in many shapes, sizes, colors, whatnot, and there's at least 3 different types of lichen on here. There's a gray one, there's kind of an orangey one, and a more yellow one. And you'll find these year-round on rocks, trees, houses, anything that sits still long enough for it to grow. It is very slow growing. So thanks for joining me on this walk today. If you would like to lead a nature walk in your area, if you're back in your home country, or even if you're just in Ellensburg, let me know. I'll put up the information where you can contact me and you can lead your own nature walk. If you enjoyed this content, and if you want to see more content from the International Center for You Students, please like and subscribe to this YouTube channel and our other forms of social media, and we will be posting content.